Welcome to another segment of INN, where we bring you the important news that you need when you need it. Tonight the topic of discussion are the violations of human rights that occur all over the world today. There are 30 human rights, and many places around the world have different interpretations of them. When most people think about people's human rights being violated, they think of the Holocaust and African slaves that were brought to the U.S. Events from the past, but human rights violations are a problem of the present. Just last week, more than 200 girls' rights were violated in Nigeria. We sent our on-the-site girl, Amy, to go take a closer look at the issue.
In Chibok, Nigeria, more than 200 girls were abducted from their school. They were kidnapped by the armed Islamic group Boko Haram. Their whereabouts are still unknown, and the hunt for their location in hopes of bringing an end to this horrific abduction continues today.
Domestic workers in Qatar have their rights violated as well.
A migrant worker in Qatar was working regular hours with honest pay. 1 month, the employer had a lot of excess company stay and the worker had to take on many extra hours of hard work to maintain the house. After the guest left, she politely asked for a little extra pay from her employer that she rightfully earned for working extra. The employer, instead of her working conditions worse by not allowing her out of the house with no days off, the employer also took away some of her pay. Her rights to a safe workplace are being violated.
This past Wednesday, reports came in about a corrupt government in Azerbaijan, Berlin, violating the rights of people who are trying to protect them.
On May 14, 2014, in Azerbaijan, Berlin, authorities brought or threatened unfounded criminal charges against more than 40 political activists, journalists, bloggers, and human rights defenders. Many are imprisoned for criticizing the government. A reporter was arrested in Baku's international airport and is now facing treason charges for tax evasion. Authorities also violently dispersed a peaceful crowd and more than 30 people were arrested. 12 of them were fined and 5 of them were accused of misdemeanors and jailed for 15 to 30 days. In another incident, a girl was struck several times in the head by a police officer while being questioned. This corrupt government is horribly violating people's rights.
Although some countries are accused of violating human rights, the accusations they are faced with are false.
Canada is being falsely accused of violating human rights. Iran is currently accusing Canada's administration of violating human rights. They are particularly accusing them of violating the rights of Native people. Iran's words, however, have no political logic to back up their statement.
comes to us from Chad, Africa, where a border that is important to some people's safety has been closed.
The government in Chad just decided to close the country's southern border. The border is open to the returning Chad citizens. However, it is a border that many refugees use when fleeing from the Central African Republic to get to safety. Officials say that it is closed until the crisis in Central African Republic is resolved. Closing the border cuts off a crucial line to those who are seeking refuge.
As you can see, human rights issues occur every day. Nothing and no one is safe from having a crisis like this affect them. That's all we have for today, but be sure to join us next week when we address how dressing up your pet could be violating their rights. When we send Amy to the Terrier Tutus and Tuxedos Takedown Convention.